Raceway in Germiston. The 2.6-kilometer Wesbank Raceway's unique layout that combines a banked corner, a long straight, and an extremely tight infield posed the Bridgestone Production Car Championship Brigade a variety of setup challenges. This equally affected the factory teams of Nissan, BMW, Audi and Subaru at the front of a 37-strong entry list. Going to Germiston, MD Transport Audi driver Johan Verree and the Sasol Nissan team South African champion Leroy Poulter shared the Class A points lead, while veteran Volkswagen Golf GTI pilots Ian Pepper and Graham Nathan were closely matched in Class T for force-inducted petrol engine cars. Saturday's official qualifying left Audi's Melville Priest and Sean Watson-Smith on the front row of the grid, closely followed by BMW's Etienne van der Linde. Afterwards, Watson-Smith was confident about his winning prospects.
Yeah, for sure. We obviously, I'm determined to win every time, but it would be special to do it in, first time with the new colours and so on. So, yeah, first race we got a good shot, obviously, starting in front row. Melville in front of me, but we're going to be under pressure, I think, the first couple of laps from the BMW and the Nissan. Hopefully later on in the race, the four-wheel drive Audi will come into its own in terms of the tyre preservation and so on. And we can pull it for a win, yeah, certainly be going for it.
Well, as you've seen, it's an Audi front row, and let's see if these Audis can get off the line as well as what Sean Watson-Smith had hoped. It looks like it's a good start there from Michael Stephen, a little bit further back in the second of those engine Audis. And here they come down towards turn number 1. It's a long, long drag. We go on board with Clint Weston and the Castrol BMW. Let's see if he's going to be able to make anything work down in towards turn 1. Here they are, onto the brakes at 100 meters to go. And into turn 1, it looks like it's Melville Priest from Sean Watson-Smith, Etienne van der Linde, and just tucking in there, looks like that is Leroy Poulter. Good start there, Matt.
That's right, and this is where things start to get a little bit tightened up there. They're going to be flat out through fourth gear into this kink, and then we head into the first of the Wesbank Ws, where there's a 180 that come all the way back in each other, and you can see everyone climbing on the brakes and jockling for position. Stevie Morris joining us back in and leading the Subaru chase through the field.
Yeah, it's his first race back. It's good to see him back in the car as well. The two Castrol BMWs just ahead of him there. Then he's got Chops of Puka on his tail. And in Class T, look at that. What a start from Ian Pepper. He's already up, and he's got Peter Lindenberg between himself and the second of those minis.
Looking back from Melville Priest, and look at these Audis. They really are flying and bouncing through the curbs. Look how they are sideways all the way through this banking. Then they cut back onto the flat before they put everything they've got into the tyres. And they are flat out back onto the straight. That's one lap here at the Wesbank circuit.
Nice start so far from Melville Priest. He looks like he's got a little bit of a gap over Sean Watson-Smith. Here comes a challenge, though, from Leroy Poulter. He's going to try to go up the inside, but it looks like Etienne van der Linde's got that closed. Van der Linde holding that inside line as they go into turn 1, and Leroy Poulter's going to go around the outside of him into turn 1. Not the way to do things, but he just tucks in behind him and follows on line astern.
Absolute highway racing down that big straight, and they are clipping the outside of that corner. Look how dry the conditions are, and if you do slip off the side of the circuit, it is just dust, and that is getting blown onto the circuit. Melville Priest under big pressure. Look at Watson-Smith shoving that Audi up the inside. He's going to have the line for the next left-hander if he can just get the power drive, but Priest has got a strong drive there.
Yeah, he has. He's got a little bit of a better drive out of turn 1 through turn 2. Now they're absolutely evenly matched, and that BMW just behind is coming big time. Etienne van der Linde wants to get involved in this action as well. Oh, a little touch there from van der Linde on Sean Watson-Smith, but rubbing his racing.
Yeah, good shunt there, and that's where things are going to get tightened up. The major passing points are at the end of turn 1 and going into that first of the Ws. Look how tight things are. BMW, Nissan, BMW, and we go back on board with Melville Priest. He's trying to get away from Sean Watson-Smith. He doesn't want that pressure again when we come to the end of the big straight.
Coming through the wiggle woggle now, and as they come into the kink, it looks like Anthony Taylor got to move up a little bit of a position there as well. Yes, indeed. Look at that. Taylor's ahead of Stephen. So Michael Stephen now with a bit of problems with that Castrol BMW. As they come through Wesbank corner, they'll be coming absolutely flat out through there into third gear, and by the time they get onto the straight, they'll be into fourth and looking to get to close to 220 kilometers an hour before they climb onto the anchors at the end of the straight.
Just picking up on Taylor there. He took a wide line around onto the banking, cut back inside, and that's going to set him up for this move, and that's going to move him up against Poulter. Look at that, Anthony Taylor on a flyer. Can he hold it as we watch Sean Watson-Smith make that move stick? Oh, he's drifted wide. Priest is going to come back on him, and he's going to have to wait another lap to make that stick.
Back in Class T, it's all about Ian Pepper, but Robert Volk is coming big time in that Affinity Parts Mini. He's really pushing Pepper and slowly but surely catching him. I tell you something, Pepper's going to have to watch out and keep his eyes on that rearview mirror. You can see him very late on the brakes into turn 1, and the Affinity Parts Mini is coming big time.
Yeah, those minis really have been pushing hard since Bekisa, but where is Graham Nathan? Back to the action here in Class A, and look at it, it's 3 astern. What is going to happen here? Is that new engine extreme of Watson Smith going to be able to make it through? Yes, it is, and he's kept it tight this time, so Melvin has not got an answer, and he's going to have to wait probably until the end of the main straight until he can make a move again, but he's got his rear mirror full of BMW. Things very, very tight here in production Class A.
Yeah, as per usual, this is what we expected, but as they come through there, it's actually Anthony Taylor who's got up to third place. So problems there for Van der Linde. He's dropped back slightly. Taylor's up into third, and he's got Poulter all over the back of him. That's the battle a little bit further back between Peter Lindenberg and the Subaru, and he's got Chop Sapuka on his tail. But here comes the Mini versus GTI. Pepper with his hands full here of Robert Volk.
Class T looking incredibly tight here.
Sean Watson-Smith went on to take the Class A victory from Melville Priest, with the two Audi drivers marginally ahead of Leroy Poulter's Nissan, Etienne van der Linde's BMW and Michael Stevens' Audi. After
Brand new circuit here at Wesbank Raceway, and it looks like Car Wars are about to take the circuit into their own hands. Down towards turn number 1, it's going to be absolute mayhem. Look at them jostling for positions. Up the inside, look at Steve Morris in that metal paint Subaru. He comes up the inside and he's going to tuck onto the back end of Leroy Poulter. No, it's Gary Formato who's up there. Look at that. Good start from Formato as well. And there comes Melville Priest around the outside. We go on board with Leroy Poulter in the Sassel Nissan and right on the tail of Johan Fourie as they go through turn 2.
What has happened to Stevie Morris? He's come out of nowhere and he's in third place in the first of the Subarus. He'll be very, very happy and has certainly got the pace to run there. Everyone will be trying to make their way past him, but no problem so far. Poulter stuck down there in fifth. We go on board with Priest. Look at Olivier coming into the side of, I think that was Stevens he's bashing paintwork with.
Yeah, Michael Stevens coming off the worst for wear there. The red car there, the Bozel Subaru of Darby Olivier. Unfortunately, just having a little touch there from the outside. Had nowhere to go and just used Steven as a berm.
Absolutely amazing watching these guys come through the infield there. That is Formato having an absolute stormer of a start. His teammate down there in third, and then it's a gaggle of Audis and BMWs before we go back to the Subarus. Look at Stevie Morris in the background there in the yellow Subaru. Problems for that man, running hot at the beginning of the race, but now parking it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a steering arm has cracked there, and that unfortunately has put Steve Morris out of the race. Looking a little bit further back, though, Class T being led by Graham Nathan. That's the BP Ultimate car, and he's ahead of the two Minis, and then only Pepper in fourth.
Lovely shot as we watch them come down the drag strip here at Wesbank Raceway. Formato still holding off Watson Smith, and then we go back to Poulter, Priest, and I think that is Taylor in the first of the BMWs. We go on board with Leroy Poulter in the Sassel Nissan 350Z as he tries to make his way through and past that Extreme N-Gen Audi.
Yeah, Sean Watson Smith is going to go around the outside. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a tight, tricky maneuver to try and make here. You can see Leroy Poulter holding onto that outside line, but he's going to have the inside line for this next corner, and that is superb driving from Leroy Poulter.
Absolutely excellent setup there, and it just made him work through. Look at Pepper ploughing his way through in the Class T field, just getting ahead of Graham Nathan now, and Nathan is going to have to fend off the Minis as we go back at the front with Class A's, and it is Formato leading Poulter over Watson Smith and Fourie.
Fourie in the second of the Audis now. He's got a bit of pressure coming from Clint Weston and Anthony Taylor as well. So they're going to have to work hard as they come down towards turn number 1 now. This is the drag strip. You can see Leroy Poulter might have a little bit of an edge over his teammate. Formato having a crash in the first heat. They had to fix that car. They've done a great job to get it back onto the circuit, but it definitely looks like Poulter's car is handling a lot better than Gary Formato's is.
Watson Smith in the Audi trying to get those four wheels working. You see how they grab a little bit of outside dirt before they climb over this blind rise, pin it into fourth gear, just grab and touch the inside of those corners, and it is flat out before we go into the first section of the Wesbank W's. Climb under the brakes. Look at Fourie making moves on the inside there to cover his line.
Yeah, he's just keeping Etienne van der Linde at bay, and here comes his stablemate. That's Melville Priest in the my car, Sonic's Audi. He's just behind van der Linde, then it's Taylor, and right on, in fact, it's Clint Weston. Can you believe it? Weston with a great start. What's happened to Anthony Taylor?
Watson Smith still got his eyeballs full of the Nissans, but what can he do as we watch them come out onto the open section? Watch the speeds as they come through the kink, and then it's flat out onto this banking circuit here at Wesbank.
Into Wesbank corner they go. Oh, a little bit of spin there. A little touch, I think, from Johan Fourie on Sean Watson Smith. He's not going to be happy about that. But it looks like, unfortunately, Fourie just getting a little tap there on the back end of Watson Smith, put him into the spin, and that's put Fourie into third. And looks like Melville Priest looking to go up the inside of Wesbank corner to try and get into fourth place. But it's going to be a difficult man to get past there. The two Minis side by side through Wesbank corner.
All sorts of different lines going on. Some favouring the banking, some staying towards the bottom. But remember, we are mixed in all the classes here. So B and C's are about to get eaten up by the leaders pretty soon as we watch them make their way through here.
Yeah, leading Class C at the moment. It looked like that was actually Trevor Tuck who's up in front, and he's got his teammate Tian Sieloff in the palio. Fortunately there, yes he is, that's Tian Sieloff there. And the second of the Grande Puntos didn't make it onto the race circuit today, so they had to go back to the spare car, which Sieloff is doing a great job in.
Look, we're back at the front of Class A's, and what is going on with Faree's car? I don't know if that's a bit of bodywork rubbing, but the BMW is about to come past him, so I think some problems for Faree, and he's getting forced out wide by Taylor and Clint Weston this time.
Weston up the inside, he'll have the line into turn 2. Let's see if he can make it stick. I don't think he's going to have any other choice. And nice bit of driving there from Chop Sapuka. He saw the opportunity and nearly went up the inside of Faree as well.
Yeah, I think he got his nose cut off a bit there, but look at Chops. He's still trying to make a nice line, and he's come up the inside of Priest, or he's blocked Priest to the outside. He's drifting a little bit wide, and he's going to have to cut back. Look at Pepper stretching his lead in Class T's above Nathan, and Nathan's still got his rearview mirrors full of the minis of Volk and Waberski.
Waberski not having such a great weekend this weekend. He's been very quiet, although he is sticking in there and trying to get as many points as possible in that Cashflow Mini. But Robert Volk's got his hands full of Graham Nathan, and is Nathan going to be able to keep these two minis at bay? As you see a Piet Visaki coming through here in the Liber GTI, and look at this, Class B being led by Hector North. Then he's got Ben Morgenroot in the Zoom RX-8, and only Rio Jaffa in third place. Jaffa having some problems getting through the field, and unfortunately that might cost him a little bit towards his championship points by the end of the day.
Back to the front of the field with the Class A's, and look at the Sasols making their way ahead of the BMWs. Audi's up the inside there. That looks like it's Michaels, and Priest coming on a charge. What's happened to his brakes? Priest going straight and taking out Chop Sapuka and crashing into the wall. A very big impact from Priest, taking out two of the cars. That's probably going to bring out the red flag, to be honest, because that's a very dangerous situation to be in.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a safety car might come out onto the circuit. They're going to try and get Chop Sapuka out of that dirt. But a big impact there between Sapuka and Melville Priest. It looks like Melville Priest actually just ran out of brakes at the end of the straight, and that cost him big time. You can see he was foot flat on the brakes. The lights were ablaze, but unfortunately had nowhere to go other than that concrete wall, just with the tyres in front of it.
That's right. We just saw Michael Stiefel coming through there in the first of the new colours in the engine Audi's, lights ablaze, and he is followed by Gary Formato.
Formato there with your Faree and a recovered Sean Watson-Smith. Oh, Faree spun out. Can you believe it? Faree spun out with only about 4 corners to go. That's going to cost him big time. It's going to give a little bit of an opportunity to Chop Sapuka to get through as well, because he's got back onto the circuit. There is Chops just ahead of the palio of Tian Sieloff. So good to see that Chops was able to get back out onto the circuit. Class C battle raging here, supreme. And Mark Silverwood having a superb effort here at Wesbank Raceway.
That's right. Everyone tripping over each other in these late stages as we watch the rest of the field come through. Poulter absolutely flying in the first of the Sasol Nissans. He kept himself out of trouble, and he's going to go on to take the win in the second of the Class A's.
Apart from beating BMW's Etienne van der Linde and Audi's Michael Steven to the checkered flag, Leroy Poulter set the day's quickest Bridgestone production car lap time in his Nissan to re-establish himself as this year's overall title points leader. Meanwhile, Rio Jaffa's pair of second places on the day kept the Sasol Toyota Runex driver in the Class B title lead, marginally ahead of Ben Morgenroot. Afterwards, we spoke to a happy Leroy Poulter.
We said if we get in front, we'll be okay. I think the Subarus helped us out a bit, destroying half the field in the first corner. But yeah, we got through, and I'm happy to see the safety car. I must admit, we had a 5-second gap. But we got out and stayed there, and the lap times are also good, you know.
Looking forward to Kyalami?
Yeah, I think we've made progress from Cape Town to here. So I think the championship's looking good again for us. And even Gary was better there. So I think we're strong again.